in interesting times. Today's stories. First COVID-19 vaccine authorized by Health Canada. Quebec would be ready to vaccinate residents. In Ontario, questions on whether the COVID-19 vaccines are mandatory or optional. Toronto residents react to Canada's Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine approval. Vaccine updates in British Columbia. British Columbia government announces new one-time benefit for residents. Impressive Lego project in Calgary. Lebron James wins 2020 Sportsperson of the Year. Hello everyone, you're watching Eagle News International from Canada. I'm Arnie Aquino Malihan reporting from Vancouver, British Columbia, bringing you stories from across the globe.
Next Wednesday, the first people to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in Alberta will begin rolling up their sleeves. Health Canada has approved the Pfizer vaccine. Alberta Health Minister Tyler Shandro says nearly 4,000 ICU doctors and nurses, respiratory therapists, and long-term care workers are in the first group to receive a shot.
These staff are exhausted and they've put themselves at risk for 10 months. They need support. And they need to know we're there for them.
Shandro says it's critical that these healthcare providers are immunized. You know, there's close to 700 people being treated for COVID in hospital in Alberta. More than 100 of them are in intensive care.
We hope that by covering the staff, we'll start reducing the risk to patients and residents, and will immediately reduce the burden and risk for the staff.
Shandro adds these workers will have to take a second dose about a month later. The minister says although the vaccine is good news, this is not the time to be complacent about public health restrictions.
We cannot take our foot off the gas with our adherence to the public health measures and the restrictions in place. It will be many months until the majority of Albertans are immunized. And until then, we are each other's best defense.
It's going to be a while before the average person can be inoculated. In the first 3 months of 2021, the province will vaccinate long-term care and some supported living residents and staff, as well as seniors over the age of 75 and healthcare workers most needed to keep the system going. A second priority group will be set up in April. The members of that group have not yet been announced. The general population, well, likely people will have to wait until next fall before they can be immunized. Until we can all be safe from this virus, I wish you all good health. Take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
The first COVID-19 vaccine has been authorized by Health Canada. Eagle News correspondent Andre Lejoie with the details.
The first COVID-19 vaccine was authorized by Health Canada following a thorough and independent review of the vaccine. Health Canada has determined that Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine met the department's safety, quality, and efficacy requirements for the use in Canada. A summary of evidence to support the vaccine authorization was published by Health Canada. The Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 Morna vaccine, Tornana-Maran, or the BNT162b2, is used to prevent COVID-19. Approved for 16 years old and above, however, according to Health Canada, effectiveness under this age has not been established. According to Pfizer and BioNTech, the vaccine was 95% effective in preventing COVID-19 infection beginning 1 week after the second dose. Protection is warranted until at least 7 days after the second dose. Scientific review was conducted by Health Canada of the available medical evidence to access the safety of the vaccine, and no major safety concerns have been identified in the data of the review. Health Canada will continue to monitor the safety of the vaccine, along with all the public health agencies of Canada in the collaboration with the province and the territories, for any advice in effect following the immunization. Pfizer and biotech is required to provide continuing information to Health Canada on safety, efficacy, and quality of the vaccine. With the successful negotiation with the Government of Canada, Minister of Public Service and Procurement Anita Anand, Canada will receive up to 249,000 doses of the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine this December 2020. Those doses are part of the 76 million doses that Canada has secured with the agreement with Pfizer. Government is working together on its handling, transportation, and storage at minus 70 degrees Celsius. The Government of Canada has purchased 126 freezers to store COVID-19 vaccines, including 26 freezers to store ultra-low temperature vaccine, such as Pfizer vaccine. To date, 9 ultra-low temperature freezers has been delivered. This is André Lajoie in Ottawa, Canada. We live in an interesting time.
Thank you, Andre. With the approved vaccine comes a question of who will have priority in getting the vaccine. Eagle News correspondent Sabir Mufti reports on the situation in Quebec. Sabir?
As the federal government of Canada announced that Canada would be receiving 249,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, Minister of Health and Social Services of Quebec, Christian Dubé, announced that Quebec would be ready to vaccinate residents next week, once first doses of the vaccine have been received and 4,000 doses sent to Quebec. The Quebec Immunization Committee, a standing committee on experts reporting directly to the National Institute of Public Health of Quebec, or INSPQ, disclosed that the determination of priority groups targeted within the framework of immunization campaign, based on a preliminary opinion, with the first goal to pursue is prevention of serious illnesses and death. According to the committee, the proposed priority groups are vulnerable people with a great loss of autonomy who reside in residential and long-term care centers or in intermediate and family-type resources, workers in the health and social services network in contact with users, autonomous people or people with a loss of autonomy who live in a private seniors residence or in certain closed environments housing the elderly, isolated and remote communities, people aged 80 or over, people aged 70 to 79, people aged 60 to 69, adults under the age of 60 who have chronic illnesses or health problems that increase the risk of complications from COVID-19, adults under 60 without chronic diseases or health problems increasing the risk of complications, but who provide essential services and who are in contact with users. And finally, the rest of the adult population. Around 22,000 to 28,000 Quebecers could be vaccinated by January 4th, 2021. According to the Government of Quebec, the campaign will take place in 20 established locations, and a total of 650,000 Quebecers could be vaccinated by the end of March 2021. The vaccine will be offered free of charge to all residents or people in Quebec. Meanwhile, the Quebec government issues an emergency alert, public health emergency in effect, to remind residences in red zones that all public and private gatherings are prohibited and violators could face fines. There is an increase in fines for violators ranging from $1,500 to $6,000. Some residents in Ottawa also received the alert on their cell phones. In Ottawa, Canada, Sabir Mufti, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
And in Ontario, there are questions on whether the COVID-19 vaccines are mandatory or optional. Eagle News correspondent Asti Sakmar with the details.
On Wednesday, Health Canada officially gave authorization to Pfizer BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine for use here in the country. The company submitted its proposal last October 9th, and it went under a close, rigorous review process to make sure that the vaccine checks off on all of Canada's requirements. Last Monday, General Rick Hillier, head of the vaccination task force in Ontario, outlined the 3 phases of vaccine distribution. Take a look.
Phase 1 will take us 2 to 3 months, depending on the arrival of those vaccines. We won't be able to do everyone each day or on the first day, so people are going to have to be patient that their turn will come in that phase 1 category. Phase 2, somewhere about 1st April onwards, in my view, is going to take 6 to 9 months, perhaps a little bit longer, and that's when the bulk of the vaccines will start to arrive, other than Pfizer and other than perhaps just Pfizer and Moderna. And we will start, and we will ask, of course, the Cabinet for recommendations as to the priorities beyond the vulnerable and the healthcare workers, so we can start ensuring everybody across Ontario who is eligible and who wants the vaccine can get it. And then phase 3, which we'll be planning at the same time, is what I would call the steady state. And that's when we want to turn the operation into one which is identical to the flu vaccine or the shingles vaccine, where your pharmacies, your medical clinics, your provincial health units are the places where you go.
Here is the Ontario Ministry of Health's breakdown of the groups who will be receiving the vaccine first. Residents, staff, essential caregivers, and other employees of congregate living settings, healthcare workers, adults in First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities, and adult recipients of chronic home health care. As with any vaccine, there are questions whether the province will make the COVID-19 vaccine mandatory or optional like the flu shot. Here's what the Premier had to say.
Well, right now it's optional. Constitutionally, I don't think we can force every single person to take it, and I just don't believe in forcing people to take this. What I do believe, encouraging everyone possible out there to get a vaccination shot. It's going to protect all of us, but it's also going to get the economy moving forward. It's going to protect our healthcare system. It's going to protect our education system. So I highly, highly recommend that people take the vaccine.
On Wednesday, December 9th, Ontario reported 1,890 new cases of COVID-19, with 28 additional deaths linked to the virus. 517 cases are in Toronto, 471 in Peel, and 187 in York Region. Though the news of the vaccine's approval and arrival is upon Canada, the strong advice to continue to follow public health measures are still in place. Maintaining 2 meters of physical distancing, avoiding social gatherings, regular hand washing, and wearing face covering whenever possible. In Toronto, Ashley Sackmar, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Thank you, Ashley. Staying in Ontario, Toronto residents react to Canada's Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine approval.
It's amazing news. I definitely will take the vaccine. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm really excited. Yeah, I want to get vaccinated as soon as possible because I have a new baby. She's under 6 months old, and so obviously my main concern through the whole pandemic has been to protect her. And so now that I know that there's a vaccine and I can get it, my husband can get it, and our family can get it, and return back to normal is amazing. I'm really happy.
I would wait and see the outcome of other people who have gotten it, but to be honest, I don't really think I'll be getting it. So I feel like my body's really good at fighting whatever illnesses that I've ever had, and I do take natural remedies as opposed to what the doctors provide to us, so I won't be getting it, most likely.
I'm happy that they've approved it. I think it's a smart move, and I think that only good things can come from it.
Up next, vaccine update in BC. Eagle News correspondent Kathleen Cruz reports.
The first round of distribution of approximately 4,000 COVID-19 vaccines are set to begin next week in 2 centered areas in the province of British Columbia. Canada has ordered contracts to purchase COVID-19 vaccines from 7 manufacturers, of which the first will be from Pfizer, while Moderna is currently being reviewed by Health Canada. Health officials assured the public that all vaccines go through rigorous regulatory scientific review process for safety, quality, and efficacy at Health Canada before being made available.
We are still learning more about the virus. We're learning more about our immune response to it and how long that response lasts. We're learning how long immunity takes to be achieved and how long after being vaccinated we are protected. But I, along with my colleagues across this country, have full confidence in the vaccines and the processes that have taken us to this point right now.
So although COVID-19 has turned our lives upside down, today and this week we have a glimmer of hope that although the end is not in front of us, the beginning of the end may well be. The announcement that vaccines are available and will be coming to British Columbia as early as next week is a sign of optimism for all of us, an opportunity for us to celebrate briefly, but then redouble our efforts as we go into the next number of months as more vaccines become available.
The first 4,000 doses of vaccines from Pfizer will be administered first to frontline healthcare workers dealing with COVID-19 patients, staff and residents in long-term care facilities, Indigenous people in rural or remote communities, people in shelters, homeless, and those over 80 years old.
Right now, our priority, as I mentioned, is to save lives. And we know that the lives that are being taken and affected most right now are seniors and elders in long-term care and assisted living.
BC healthcare officials also announced that the immunization plan is underway as more quantities of vaccines continue to receive. As these vaccines become more available, they will be expanded to other populations throughout the province. According to the distribution plan, a registration and record system is under development, including a process to register vaccine access and record of immunization.
Right now, we are only receiving small amounts of vaccine, and like every place in the world, we'll get the vaccine delivered to us sequentially in coming weeks. Eventually, everybody who can and wants to get a vaccine will have access, but to be clear, this will not happen right away. We all need to continue to protect each other by taking those measures that prevent transmission of this virus.
Both Pfizer and Moderna require 2 doses spaced with at least 3 weeks apart with full immunity of 7 days after the second dose is received. In Vancouver, Kathleen Cruz, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Still in BC, the government announces a new one-time benefit for BC residents. Eagle News correspondent Vanessa Condi reports.
As many people all around the world have been affected economically because of the pandemic, the government of British Columbia has rolled out a new one-time benefit for British Columbians. Selena Robinson, Minister of Finance, tells us more.
We made a commitment to provide a recovery benefit to British Columbians this year, and I'm so pleased to announce that we have tabled legislation today to introduce the tax-free BC Recovery Benefit. Starting December 18th, people will be able to apply online for the benefit. Up to 3.7 million British Columbians will be eligible for this benefit. Individuals will receive a one-time payment of up to $500 for single people earning less than $62,500. Single people earning up to $87,000 will qualify for a reduced benefit amount. And families making less than $125,000 will receive up to $1,000. Families, including single-parent families, earning up to $175,000 will qualify for a reduced benefit. We expect hundreds of thousands of British Columbians to have their benefit directly deposited into their bank accounts before the end of this year.
There will also be a call centre set up on December 21st for people to apply. The income criteria is based on the 2019 tax year. Also, from January to March 2021, an additional $150 will be given to people who are on income and disability allowance. This initiative should hopefully be able to help millions of people across British Columbia in the coming months. In Victoria, Vanessa Condi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
Coming up, impressive Lego project in Calgary. Lebron James wins 2020 Sportsperson of the Year. Eagle News International continues after this.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Look to NHK World Japan for news of the coronavirus outbreak across the globe. You'll find updates and insights in the specialized section of our website. Catch up with programs on your schedule through the free video on-demand service. Learn how to stay in shape and maintain your health deliciously. Ready when you are. NHK World Japan.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back. You are watching Eagle News International from Canada. I am Arnia Kino Malihan from Vancouver, British Columbia. In Calgary, a man takes on an impressive Lego project. Eagle News correspondent Rachel Lucis with the details.
Legos are small plastic construction toys that can be interlocked to one another. They can be assembled and connected in many ways to build objects like vehicles, buildings, or even robots, which is built for all ages from young to adult. A man here in Calgary, Alberta uses these Legos to build a special personal project that replicates the Bow building here in downtown Calgary. Rising from 158,000 square meters from the ground, the Bow is a skyscraper office building which is the main headquarters of some oil and gas company here in Canada. And it is currently the second tallest office building in Calgary. Roy Nelson, the Lego builder, initially put his creation on social media to sell for 4,000 Canadian dollars. It took him for almost 250 hours, spread for 5 years, and cost him roughly around 2,200 Canadian dollars. Currently, the Lego creation is on display at the Brick Bin, a Lego store in Calgary. Roy Nelson showed that you are never too old to play with Legos. From Calgary, Canada, Rachel Lucis, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Lebron James became the first athlete to win Sports Illustrated's Sports Person of the Year award 3 times. Eagle News correspondent Tenny Sumagi with more on the King.
Every sports fan knows that LeBron James is more than an athlete. James was named Sports Illustrated's Sports Person of the Year, sharing the honors with tennis star Naomi Osaka, WNBA forward Brianna Stewart, and NFL players Patrick Mahomes and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif of the Kansas City Chiefs. James is the only athlete to win the award 3 times.
Well, thank you. It definitely does. You see the class that I was in, and the group that I was in, the men and women that I was a part of, understanding that more than athletes, and being able to go out there and not only perform at a high level in what we do as far as our profession, but also being able to change lives and create opportunities and empower people and inspire people off the floor, not only in our communities, but all over the world. So it means a lot, to be a part of that group. And like you said, to be the first ever 3-time winner of this award. Very humbled. It means a lot to my family and my friends and, my kids at my foundation and my school back home and my city of Akron, where I come from. It's a great time.
The King begins year 18 of his NBA career as the Lakers will attempt to defend their championship title. In New York, Tenny Sumagi, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
That's our program for today. Join us again next week as we bring stories that matter to you. Visit our website at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I am Arnia Aquino Malihan. We live in interesting times.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced. Not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Provincia. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science, and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to thank our help outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.